All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Rakah, Kodash, double honors to the apostles of the GMS, and the sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And as you can see in this title, it says, Pilot dies and gender reveal gone wrong. Now, you may wonder why the hell would I do a video on this? Because, funny enough, the fact that it went wrong, and a lot of things that's going wrong in this society is showing a lot. But for these gender reveals and all these other dumb things that's going on in the society, anything to keep this place going, well, it's not lasting very well. And so, funny enough, here it says a pilot is dead after a gender reveal party took tragic turn in Mexico. Now, this is only with our people every time. Of course, everybody here does it, but the fact that you had to go over and beyond to get a pilot and it fails shows value. Why? Because this is basically a normal thing that turned into something that turned into a attention-seeking thing. Now people going over the top with all these type of things, and it's not going very well. And anything to keep this place going, well, that's the problem. Now, this is a very short article. I don't even need to read it because it's just plain and simple. Basically, the pilot flies over with the old baby son. Plane goes wrong. He dies an injury, right? So I'm gonna start off with the scripture right here. This is Amos 5:21. It says, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell your solemn assemblies. Right? It says, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard your peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear them, hear the melody of thy vows. And of course, that's going to what all these, as far as basically having your feast days and your like Thanksgiving and all that, but even stuff like your holidays, which don't even have to include feast days, those are still like feast days because you're getting fat off the wickedness that you're not supposed to be doing. Gender reveals is another thing. It's not simple enough to just say, hey, I have a baby. Okay, I found out it's a boy or girl. I don't need no big celebratory thing for a child that's not even out yet. Oh, if I have the child, I have the child. I don't need no big ass party for something that's not really all that relevant. See, that's more of the Queen of Heaven worship thing. That's more of a woman's thing. That's not really even profitable. You wasting more money on something that you ain't getting none out of. I can understand if you bought a house or something. That's more profitable because it's quote unquote your house, even though you don't pay the land tax on it. They taking that shit. But to spend money on Christmas gifts and all this other shit, that it's useless stuff. That's irrelevant. And see, this is why we separate ourselves from all this stuff anyways, because this is all dumb stuff. And it's dumb stuff that gets dumber and dumber each year. Throwing big ass birthday parties. Okay, granted, okay, understandable. You're here another year, even though you're here in this hell. But you made another year. You keep having the same birthday parties over and over again. After a while, you get tired of that shit. It's the same thing. It's nothing all that big of a deal. Oh, you're more concerned as you get older. You're more concerned with work and being able to try to have the money for certain shit. This is Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. And you hear, in the funny part is we'll ask people a list of questions. Not even a list of questions. You ask them simple 3 questions of, well, they'll ask you, why don't you celebrate holidays? It's good. You do all this and that. And I'm like, I'm just not into it. Or it's just, at least in my certain scenarios, when I first came into the truth, I will tell them the history of why celebrating these holidays are bad, but they'll hit you with it's tradition. Well, that's what. So you mean to tell me you're gonna throw off the history for tradition? And you had you I sometimes I just sat there dumbfounded sometimes. So I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, that you'll actually just say, oh, I'm gonna negate the fact that these are all murderous holidays and say it's tradition to follow them. But that is Babylon. That is the prison of this society. That is the mind has trapped these people to believing that they're doing a good thing following these holidays. And the whole time they just dumb as hell. Because these people will, it just ignores everything. Like, for example, the whole BLM thing that went on. Actually, no, let's not even go into that one. Just the typical protests that people was having. That'll last for a couple days for something that goes on, and then they'll go right back into doing what they was always doing. Let's take this virus for example. That back a couple years, everybody had to wear a face mask. Of course, they were defending it, and some wasn't. But now that the government says you don't have to wear this stuff anymore, now you don't even see anybody wearing a face mask like that. People over here touching all sorts of stuff, and people still getting sick. But during that whole time, some of them was saying that it's not traditional for us to wear masks or do this and that. You see how the problem just it's always a traditional thing with these people, right? So let's go into that word tradition. It says an inherited, established, or customary pattern of thought, action, or behavior, such as a religious practice or social custom, a belief or story, or a body of beliefs or stories relating to the past that are commonly accepted as historical, though not verifiable. Damn. And that's these people. They accept they accept the historical, though not verifiable. Prime example, back in middle school or even elementary school, mind you, this was a thing back then for all kids. Middle school, they'll tell you about the whole Thanksgiving thing, right? You get to high school, they'll tell you only a small fraction of what they did. They'll tell you that these devils took over the natives, especially after they signed the treaties and all this stuff, and they broke every single treaty, right? But what is people doing today? Still celebrating Thanksgiving because it's tradition, but it's not verifiable because they're not accepting the things that came after that. So these are the same things for these people. And gender reveals is tradition for these people. Halloween, all this other stuff, gender reveals, birthdays, you name it, it's all tradition for these people. They'll go above and beyond for stuff like this, except for what they really have to do. They'll they'll work their butts off just to spend all that money on the same thing every year and every other holiday, right? So this is Slakia. This is Jeremiah 11:14. It says, therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry or prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. And this shows exactly why, because this place, let's say this society shuts down, people can go nuts because they're not used to living without their lifestyle. When the whole virus thing hit and people had to wear a mask, I'm sorry, not even the mask part. It's when they was trying to tell people to take the poking stick. a lot of people had a fit because they said that we shouldn't have to do this. This isn't the American way. Then people all over the world started having a fit about it, right? But eventually, people started taking it because they said we want that normal lifestyle back. They were saying it. We want our normal lifestyle back. We don't like all these restrictions, the shutdowns. They said we need all this stuff back. So what people started doing? They started taking the poking stick because they said the only way you're gonna get that back is if you start taking this so you can go back to work. People caved in. A lot of people caved in. So we'll make the difference between when they shut down this place just to for the population control, for them to open it back up and be like, hey, you can come back to your lifestyle. You know how many people they could convince with that just to take the micrograin. They were like, if you take this micrograin, you can go back to your life. We'll give you a house, a car, all sorts of even more than what you even had back then. People going to line up left and right, especially them women. So this is what you're going to see, all sorts of things happening in that time. But for these people to go over and above for a goddamn gender reveal goes to show you how easy it is to break people. Because these ain't our customs, but they'll follow it to a T. They know Christmas comes up. Oh, gotta get the kids something. Fucking Valentine's Day come up. Gotta get my wife something. 4th of July. Oh, gotta get the fireworks. So these people who follow all that, they won't miss a beat. They would not miss a beat for anything. But these people gets what they coming to them. So that's all I pretty much wanted to go into that. So with that, shalom.